Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you, and welcome to yet another Worship on Wheels. Man, I tell you what, these foggy gray days just keep on coming, and I'm okay with it because you know what that means? I ain't sweating. And not sweating is a good thing in my book, I will tell you that. That is a fact. Well, today, I'm a little nervous. Actually, I'm not nervous at all. I'm going to share something with you, and then we're going to talk about it and see how it can apply to your life and to my life, because really, what does it matter if I just read a bunch of words and they don't apply? They do apply. The goal of this series is to draw you closer to God so that you can feel good and safe and secure and strong in your life. And if you can do those things, you are going to be a better human being, and that is the goal of this series. No, it's not for me to get rich or to gain subscribers, because I normally lose them on this series. So I'm just going to slow down here, and I'm going to pop my glove off here. This road is desolate, and I am going to open my phone here, but I'm going to stop before I do all that. So here it is, 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Wow, power, love, and self-discipline. Man, there is a lot there, isn't it? But let's first talk about the initial part. God has not given us a spirit of fear. You know, this old quote right here.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance,
is the one that comes to mind every time I hear the word fear. You know, fear is something that in society I think we see a lot of. I'm afraid of this group or that group. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of where the country's going. I'm afraid of all of those things. I'm just afraid. The news, the world, our politicians, sometimes even from the pulpit, want to sell you a big old bag of fear with no solutions. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to buy that lie. You don't have to buy that bag of fear. You know what? God has not given you a spirit of fear. He has not given you a spirit of fear, or me. And you know what? I just refuse to accept it. I just refuse to accept it. I'm not going to live my life in fear, whether it be in fear of a government takeover or a government collapse or a country collapse or a virus or anything. I'm not going to live my life in constant fear. That doesn't mean that I'm going to act irresponsibly and be stupid either. That's where power, love, and self-control come in. But I'm not doing anything that I do. My motivator is not fear. My motivation will be knowledge. You know, God has given us power. He's given us love. He's given us power. Yeah. And self-discipline, self-control. Have you ever been doing something, right? And I remember this as a boy. You know, a snake. Snakes will make you run into a tree. You walk, right? And you see that snake on the ground because you don't hear him, because he ain't got no legs and he's walking. If you ain't got legs and you're walking, you're the devil. But anyway, you're walking through the woods and you look down and there it is. It's a snake. It could be a king snake. And it startles you. It scares you. You turn around and you take off running, and you will literally run over people you love, trying to get out of the way of that snake. You'll end up hurting people way more than the snake, who was probably just going to crawl off, will hurt you. Now, I'm not saying that you should not have a healthy respect for venomous creatures that could take your life. I'm simply saying, don't let fear rule the day. So the question is, how do we harness this power? How do we develop this love and this self-discipline and not be afraid? Well, you've heard me say that often what we are is what we eat. In fact, you know, Coach Bob over the last year has put on quite a bit of weight, and I'm struggling to take it off, I'm not going to lie. And the reason is I have steadily ingested a diet of angst, worry, and food. Primarily the third, food. Lots and lots of food. And not good food. And so I've become, we'll just say, a bigger Coach Bob. Now, had I ingested healthy foods and hard work and got up early in the morning and didn't stress out and did the things that I should do, I would be a much healthier, more muscular Coach Bob. I am a physical representation of what I have eaten and what I have done for the last year. And here I am. And now the price has to be paid. I have to change my habits. I have to change the way I eat, the way I move, the way I think. How do I do that? It's simple, but it ain't easy. The first thing you have to do is you have to figure out what are your motivating and driving forces. In our life, our motivating and driving forces are to look up to God and to ask Him to give us the proper spirit, to give us the proper mindset. Because if you see the devil behind every tree, you'll never see the beauty in the tree. If you see a guy in a Honda Insight doing 30 miles an hour with a bunch of bumper stickers going really slow who irritates you, then you might be named Coach Bob. My goodness, I didn't think that guy was going to go. I could see the angst. I was losing my self-control. I had no power, and I wasn't very loving. I digress. But fear, if you let fear motivate you, if you let fear be the driving force behind everything you do, you will never, ever be happy. You'll never have what you want, and if you do have it, you'll be so afraid you won't even realize you have it. Any one of us who have ever been diagnosed with some sort of life-threatening illness or have someone super duper close to us that has been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that we're not in control of. And by the way, we're not in control of anything, just to let you know that. Fear can rob you. It can rob you of everything that you are and everything that you want to be, everything that you aspire to have. It can rob you of all peace. It can rob you of all joy. It can rob you of the love of your family. It can take everything from you. Don't be driven by fear. God has not given you a spirit of fear. Ask God to take that fear away from you. It's okay to admit it. It's okay to admit that we're afraid. There are things I'm afraid of. God, help me be bold. Give me a boldness about me. Give me a peace, Lord, in the face of danger, in the face of all of the threats that the world is going to place in front of me. God, give me a boldness. Give me a peace. Give me a love. God, give me the self-discipline to recognize what I am in you, what you have created me to be. And one thing you definitely did not create me to be is a coward. You know, that rolls over into riding a motorcycle. How many people are going to tell you that riding this thing right here will get you killed? It's dangerous. You should be afraid of it. You should be scared. There's nothing wrong with having a healthy respect of what it can do and what you can do while you're on it, and to not recognize the fact that you're in danger would be a silly premise, because you would ride carelessly and foolishly, and there you have it. But to be paralyzed with fear while you ride, I promise you, if you do that, you'll die on a motorcycle. You could die on a motorcycle anyway, but if you're afraid of it, if you're horrified of it, and every time you go out you're afraid, I guarantee you, you're just one breath away from death, because you're going to be so mortified the first time anything goes wrong. You're going to lock up, freeze up, and then you're going to be messed up because somebody's going to run over you, or you're going to slam into somebody else. You can't be controlled by fear. Work hard at self-control. Those things that are given to us, develop them. Feed those parts of your life. Don't let your body tell you what to do. You tell it what to do. Don't let your mind tell you what you can't do. You tell it what you can do. You have that self-control. You have power. You have love. Motorcycle. Nice. So I hope you feel a little emboldened today to go out, to have a smile on your face and a song in your heart, and just enjoy it with a boldness of power, love, and self-discipline. Because life, my friends, is sweet. So as the traffic picks up here on this old country road, which used to have no cars on it at all, I'm going to get closer to home here and start wrapping things up. But know this, my friends, yes, you are loved, and so am I, and that is really, really good news. Now, you go change the world. I will see you on the road real soon.